we finally have the complete reveal for GD04 Phantom Aria, so let's take a look at what's cooking, what we will get, what are the new archetypes, what's promising, and so on. Today we will start with the color blue, so let's not wait any further and let's dive right into it. Our first card is the Gundam in its last shot version from the end of the original series of Gundam. It's a level 6, 4 cost, 6-3 Earth Federation and white base team that links with Amuro Ray and says, during link on attack, if you're attacking an enemy unit, you may return a blue pilot paired with this unit to its owner hand. First of all, it's to note the future proofing in this card, so it links with Amuro Ray, but the effect only activates if it's a blue pilot. Now, we are kind of used to Amuro as an aggro pilot, while this card is definitely more useful in a control shell, because to really work with its effect, it needs to be attacking an enemy unit. Of course, you can use this to clear some blockers the turn before you do your last swing. So you play this, you link it with Amuro, you tap a blocker, you attack it with it, you bounce the Amuro back to your hand so you can replay it the same turn or a turn after, and you got rid of 2 blockers. But generally this is probably a card that you will use to clear enemy units if you are in a control position. It's definitely a glass cannon, only has 3 HP, and it requires you to attack an enemy unit, so unless you are doing some AP reducing shenanigans, this will probably die when it swings, or will eventually die the turn later, or will eventually die the turn after to some ping effects if you're attacking a 2-2 unit. So overall, I think this is definitely a strong and interesting unit, but I don't think it will be that meta-defining as for example, the starter deck Gundam was. It's an interesting link for Amuro, but as said, we are kind of used to see him more in aggro shells, so we will see. Still a very interesting card, and with Amuro becomes an 8-4. Of course, if you want to bounce Amuro back to your hand, this becomes a6 again, so it won't destroy, for example, a Wing 0. But even at 6 APs, it can deal with basically every unit in the game. Also, if you consider that with Amuro you can only tap, also considering that with Amuro you can only rest units with 5 or less HPs, so you'll probably just kill where you attack with this one. The Penelope flight form was sneaky revealed with this last dump, and honestly I can see why, because this last legendary rare is kind of a letdown. It's a level 6, 5 cost, 3-5 Earth Federation unit that links with lane aim, says during your turn all your Earth Federation units get AP +1, and on deploy during this turn, when one of your Earth Federation unit destroys an enemy unit with battle damage, choose one enemy unit with 5 or less HP and rest. So the obvious comparison with this card is the starter deck Gundam, that's a level 4, 3 cost, 3-4, that gives +1 to all your units, doesn't matter the trait, and has repair 2. These 2 get basically to the same AP level, which is 6. This has 1 HP more than the starter deck Gundam, but this only buffs your Earth Federation units, while the Gundam buffs everything, and this deploy effect is kinda tricky. I mean, you probably can do something with it with some setup, but it's kind of difficult, you know? You can obviously play this in a green-blue shell with the Earth Federation part of Age. Some people were already playing the Penelope in this shell, but Amuro rests a blocker. This with lane does basically nothing, and you can attempt to clear the board with this one, with the deploy effect, but it ends that turn. But it really depends on the board that you manage to build before you get this on the stage. So some people were expecting a blue Kshatriya, some people like me were expecting the Psycho Gundam Mark II, and we got these without even an interesting official announcement, and it's one of only 2 Hadoui's flash cards in this set, and that's very, very strange. But we got this, so we'll live with this. I don't think we'll see much play. Our third blue legendary rare for GD04 Phantom Aria is the Victory Gundam, and it's a very, very interesting card. It's a level 4, 3 cost, 3/4 League Militaire and Victory type unit that links with League Militaire trait, and on attack, if you have 3 or more League Militaire units in play, draw 1. I made a quick video about League Militaire some days ago, and I was quite skeptical. I mean, this card really interested me, but it was like, how many League Militaire cards will I have in play before Gen 4? But with the dump from today, they revealed a lot of valuable League Militaire traits card, and I think this is a very interesting unit. First, because it links with 2 very strong pilots, so you will probably more often than not be able to link this turn 4, which is something very strong on Gundam TCG, and we know that. This draws on attack, is the first unit after the Barbatos first form that draws on attack, and this even has a chance to survive. The Gundam Barbatos gets cleared very fast, also because it needs to ping itself, while this unit becomes a 5/5, so it has quite chunky HPs, and League Militaire has blockers. League Militaire can turn its token into blockers. You can make this survive and just keep drawing, and this makes this card, I think, very, very interesting, and League Militaire is one of the archetype I'm most interested about in this set. We have the rare Psycho Gundam Mark II. It's a level 8, 7 cost, 4/7 Titans unit that links with Rosamia Badam as Repair 2, and once per turn, when you pair a Cyber New Type pilot with one of your blue units, you draw 1. After this reveal and Rosamia's reveal, as I said, I was really expecting a Psycho Gundam Mark II legendary rare, but we got the Penelope instead. So this is still a very interesting card. I think this will see play in a DO shell as the top end after you play DO. This attacks and taps a unit because it has repair, also draws a card when you pair it or you pair another unit. Some might even play the Psycho Gundam shell within. I will definitely try that because I was trying so hard to make 4 work, and this is kind of interesting because you link the Psycho Gundam and you draw a card, so you don't really have to do all those Psycho Gundam shenanigans that you needed to do before. But it's definitely something that you can try, and I think it will shine in a DO deck, as I said, because you are already playing blockers and this repair makes you rest the unit, so I think we will play this instead of that Rogue Unicorn that some were playing as their top end. We have the GM3, it's a level 2, 2 cost, a 3/2 Earth Federation unit. Nothing special, interesting card for a Penelope build because it gets buffed by the Penelope, but yeah, this is your usual grunt that doesn't really do anything. The V-Gundam is a very interesting card for League Militaire. It's a level 6, 4 cost, 4/5 League Militaire Victory type unit that links with Uzo Ewin, has Breach 3, and an activate main effect that once per turn lets you rest one of your other League Militaire units and choose one enemy unit with 4 or less HP and rest it. So this is very interesting because it both has Breach and the way to rest enemy units so you can attack them and really use that Breach. You link Uzo with it, you do a token, you tap it, you rest an enemy unit, and you Breach. This is the perfect top end for the League Militaire deck, and I'm very interested in this card. It's maybe even stronger than the Victory Gundam Legendary Rares. Of course, they are 2 different types of advantage, but very, very interesting card. And the Victory Gundam Hexa in League Militaire is your main way to create parts token. It's a level 5, 4 cost, 4/4 League Militaire and Victory type unit that links with League Militaire trait, so once again links with 2 potential pilots for that deck, and during pair on attack, you deploy one part, which is a League Military token with 1 AP and 1 HP, which can choose the enemy player as its attack target. And you need them so you can rest them with the V-Dash Gundam, you need them so you have League Military units so you can draw with the Victory Gundam, you can tap them with the Gunheads we will see later. So generating this token is very useful, and even if they can't attack your enemy, you can always have a use for them. We have the level 5 3-cost Gundam. It's a 4/4 Earth Federation and White base team unit that links with Amuro Ray, and when it's linked it gains high maneuver. I think this card is very interesting in an aggro shell, because you play Amuro, you rest an enemy blocker, and then you have this with high maneuver, so you basically freed 2 attacks during that turn. So this is possibly the top end for a very usual aggro with the Amuro Ray that we are used to see. For the general use of Amuro that we make today, I think this card is more interesting than the Gundam Legendary Rare. Once again from the white base and once again from the original Gundam series, we have the level 5 4-cost 3/4 Earth Federation and white base team, Gun Cannon 108 and Gun Cannon 109 that links with Kai Shiden and Hayato Kobayashi. It has a when-linked effect. Choose one of your other white base team units that is level 4 or higher and set it as active. Setting a unit as active is very strong. It's something that we had since the start of the game with the Archangel and the Strike Rouge, and then some Zeta Gundam shenanigans. Last set it was my beloved Graham Union Flag Custom, and now we have this. This is very interesting and very strong. A lot of white base team strong units, basically the Gundams. But the real problem of this card is it's a well-linked effect, and it links with Kai Shiden and Hayato Kobayashi that for now are basically 2 pilots from the starter deck, 1 from the game, and they are basically unplayable. And I don't think that we will start playing them just to play this card. So that's just it. We have the Gaplant, which is a level 4 2-cost 3/4 Titans unit, and yet another Titan Straight Link unit. This is basically 1 level higher than the Marasai and has 1 more HP, and that's basically it. I don't think it will see much play. This Victory Gundam, on the other hand, is very interesting. It's a level 3 2-cost 3/2 League Military and Victory type unit that when it's destroyed, if another friendly League Military unit is in play, you deploy 1 parts. And this is another interesting parts generator. It's a level 3 2-cost 3/2, so it can destroy any X base. And I think in a Victory Gundam team deck, this will definitely take the place of the Red Zell, because it does basically the same thing, which is destroying the X base so your other units can attack the shields. The destroy effect basically replace it with another unit. Once again, it can't attack the enemy player, but it's still a unit that makes another piece when it leaves the battlefield. So that's interesting. We then have the level 3 2-cost Core Booster 05 and Core Booster 06, which are a 3/3 Earth Federation white base team unit that links with Slegar Law and Senna Mass. No effect, so this is basically a double link at level 3, but not very interesting, and I don't think it will see much play. The Core Fighter is very interesting and very strong. It's a level 4 2-cost 2/3 League Military and Victory type unit that once again links with the League Military trait and says, while this unit is rested, all your League Military unit tokens gain blocker. This is very interesting because it gives a purpose to your parts token. You attack with it, and then all your tokens become blockers, so you can protect all your other units. For example, the Victory Gundam Legendary Rares that will make draw the turn after this. So this is very interesting, maybe not a 4 per in every Victory Gundam deck, but definitely a 2-3 cards per deck. I think that will be the sweet spot for it. Again, from Victory Gundam, we have the Shokyu. It's a level 2 2-cost 2/3 League Military and Sunscare unit. Once again, the basic grunt that you will only play on the pre-release weekend. The Ganet, on the other hand, is very strong, a level 3, 2 cost, 2/3 League Militaire and Strike Team unit, links with Strike Team trait, sadly no League Militaire but it's okay. On deploy, you choose one of your active League Militaire units and one enemy unit that's level 3 or lower and rest them. This is a very aggressive play on turn 3, turn 4 or even late game, because it lets you rest one of your parts token so you can rest a basically low level blocker or even a random unit you want to trade. So this is very interesting and a very aggressive unit. I really like it. League Militaire once again is the Zolot, a level 2, 2 cost, 3/2 League Militaire unit that is basically the blue Zoward, so it has blocker and can choose the enemy player as its attack target. This gets basically destroyed by a close combat. Zoward didn't really see much play lately, but it's a League Militaire unit. It's a blocker, can protect your Victory Gundam, so I think this will definitely find its place in that deck. And that was it for the units, so let's take a look at the pilots. Our blue rare pilot for GD04 is Uzo Ewin, a level 4, 1 cost, +2/+1, League Militaire and new type pilot. On burst, of course, you add it to your hand and has a when paired effect that lets you deploy a parts token if it's paired with a League Militaire unit. So this is very interesting, obviously not the strongest effect, but definitely a synergic one with the archetype it's a part of and actually is the leader pilot of it. We then have Rosamia Badam, a level 3, 1 cost, +2/+0, Titans and Cyber new type pilot. On burst, add it to your hand, and when linked you choose one rested unit and deal 1 damage to it. This is a classic effect of ping in blue, but it's kinda relevant because it's a Titan's trait, so links with a lot of stuff. It's a Cyber new type trait, so it links with a lot of stuff, specifically, for example, the Banshee that lets you rest an enemy unit, so you can rest an enemy unit and then ping it. And of course, it's very interesting on the Psycho Gundam Mark II because it lets you draw a card. Marbet Fingerhead, it's a level 3, 1 cost, +1/+1 League Militaire trait pilot. On burst you add it to your hand and it says that all your League Militaire units token get AP +1. Couple of these on the battlefield or even these on a starter deck Gundam basically makes all your League Militaire token 3 APs. And at that point, it doesn't really matter if they can't attack the shields, they can definitely wipe your enemy board. So I think Marbet is very strong and it will be a secondary pilot on the Victory Gundam base deck. Our last blue pilot is Legarlo, it's a level 3, 1 cost, +1/+1 Earth Federation and White base team pilot. On burst you add it to your hand and on attack you choose one of your White base team units and it gets AP +1 during this turn. So generally this will be the usual conditional level 3 +2/+1 pilot. It's interesting, you can also buff other units, but this is basically the White base team Yazan, the White base team Shaja Frost and so on. We then get to the commands. Our rare blue command is Kind-Hearted, a level 3, 1 cost. On burst, you activate this card main, and on main or action, during this turn, friendly units can't be destroyed by enemy effects, and then you draw 1. This is a very interesting, though situational card, so it's important here to read the frequently asked questions section because it says that obviously this only protects your units from destroy a unit effect. So we are talking Fatal Strike, we are talking Giant Killing and the few units that do that same effect. It doesn't protect your units from battle damage, of course, because it says enemy effects, but it also doesn't protect them from being destroyed by close combat, battle oasis, or basically any command that does damage. So it doesn't prevent the damage, it only prevents the instance of being destroyed. But it's very interesting because it's basically a Hold the Curiosity with a burst and that you can also do on your opponent action. This is probably, I think, the first card that lets you draw as an action. I think this is strong, but will probably be stronger in a control shell. So you just use them to cycle them to your trash, so you can, for example, have cards in your trash for the Banshee Gundam or the new Banshee Norn. Moment of Rest is a level 4 1-cost command. On birth you draw 1, and on main you choose one rested enemy unit that is level 5 or lower. It won't be set as active during the start phase of your opponent's next turn. So it can still be untapped by effects, but this basically freezes one enemy unit that is level 5 or lower for one whole turn. And for example, if you're playing an aggro with Amuro, you just rest an enemy blocker and you use this, and that blocker won't untap the next turn. This is very strong, though to be seen if it will find its right place. But this basically spares you an attack for an entire turn, and I think it's a very strong card. Spiritual Support is a level 4 1-cost command. Only has a main effect that says choose one of your units, it gains Repair 2 during this turn. Not having a burst effect kinda does this card dirty, and this card is probably most interesting in a DO shell, but I'm not really sure that you need this one because you just play a bunch of blocker and when you get your engine started, so this is probably just too much and you don't really need it. Our last blue command is a Command Pilot, level 3, 1-cost, Shrike Steam Bulwark, main or action, choose 1/2/2 enemy units that are level 2 or lower and rest them, or Junko Genko, +1/+1, League Militaire and Shrike Team Pilot, our only Shrike Team Pilot for now, so the only card that links with the gun adds. This is kind of an interesting card, but it's basically strong against aggro, so you can tap their low-level units and you can trade them, possibly with your parts token. I honestly don't think this makes the cut, but what I want to say is this art is beautiful. Chef kiss. And to conclude with the blue cards, we have two bases. One is a rare base, it's a Reinforced Junior, a level 3, 1-cost, 05 League Militaire Warship. On burst you deploy it. On deploy you add 1 shield to your hand, and if it's your turn and you have a League Militaire unit in play, you can deploy 1 parts token. This is another token generator, and now that Corsica is limited to 2, and you don't really need to play the strongest blue base in the game in 4 copies, I think this will probably make the cut. Honestly, it's between these and the white base. Obviously, white base makes you more value overall, but this is more synergic, and I think you'll find this place, and I will definitely try it. And our last card is Jaburo, a level 4, 1-cost, 05 Earth Federation Stronghold. On burst you deploy it. On deploy you add 1 of your shields to your hand, and then it has an activate main effect. Once per turn you rest 1 of your Earth Federation units and you choose 1 enemy unit that is level 3 or lower and rest it. This works with the Penelope in an Earth Federation team deck. You rest something, you attack it, and then the Penelope lets you rest something else and you attack it, and so on. But as I said before, I think it's too many pieces. That said, Earth Federation are kind of the core of blue aggro decks anyway, so this basically lets you rest an enemy blocker. Maybe you play your GM for turn, and then you rest it, so you can rest an enemy blocker and you attack, and the GM wouldn't have attacked anyway. I think this is interesting and definitely tryable to see. This was all for the blue cards in Phantom Aria. The more complete archetype that we got is League Militaire, and I think it does have legs, because we are used to some half-baked archetypes that are, you know, half of them in a set and then half of them in another set, and then they don't feel complete. But League Militaire has a lot of new units, it's synergistic, it works with itself, and that makes it definitely interesting, and I will be trying it. And as said, the Penelope feels like a wasted slot, at least to me. There's some new interesting cyber new type stuff. We will see more of it in red, but I don't think that red blue cyber new type is quite ready yet. and I think this blue part will definitely still work better with the O. But overall, it's a strong start. There are a lot of interesting cards, and as said, Ligue Militaire seems very interesting and very powerful as a sort of mid-range-ish aggro. So we will see how it goes, and I will see you in the next video with our next color, which is green. See you!